Seedfolks. Today, guys, we come to the end. This is it. We're going to finish the last couple of pages of Paul Fleischman's process for this story. And after that, no more Seedfolks videos. It'll just be Fever 1793. So, yesterday we talked about the basis for, or we read about the basis for the story, him coming up with the idea of immigration being central to the book, the story of his father, and wanting to keep the story current to current times, and how he settled on Cleveland. Today we start with the end. Ideas are everywhere. The trick is turning them into something. What would be the book's shape and story? I decided to concentrate on the garden's first year, like the infancy of a baby or a plant, a time of dramatic growth. I also knew I wanted to tell its history through a variety of characters, each with a distinctive voice. I'd done this in Bull Run, my previous book, an account of the Civil War's first battle told from 16 points of view. The monologues in that book had been very short, each character speaking several times. I dislike repeating myself and wanted something different this time. Longer speeches, more like short stories, with characters only speaking once, yet appearing in the background of other speakers' accounts. Those characters began taking shape. Some, like sailors awaiting a ship, had languished in my notebook for years without finding their way into a book. Others popped up out of nowhere. Research is a wonderful push-pull proposition. You go looking for facts and return with fiction. I read of a garden that had problems with people raising produce for profit and came up with Virgil's father, the would-be lettuce baron. I came across a mention of a support group for teen mothers taking part in a garden and invented Maricela. Say Young came from a newspaper article I'd seen years before about a teacher who'd been assaulted, lost all trust in people, and hadn't left his apartment for years. Other characters were aspects of me. Sam, who greets everyone he sees, came from the year I spent in an Omaha neighborhood in which people still lived in the houses they'd been born in. Mine was the only beard on the block. Teenagers threw rocks at me on my first bicycle ride. Like Sam, I began going out of my way to make small talk with grocery store clerks and people at the bus stop, showing them that I was benign, and by extension, so were others who looked different. Write what you know is common advice for writers. In fact, I'm not much of a gardener. I studied up on soil and pests and fertilizers, but it soon became clear that the focus of the book was people. To experience some of what my characters were going through, I planted a long row of bush beans in my yard midway through the writing. Suddenly, I understood. I felt pulled out of bed to check on them every morning and gave them a last look every night. Every milestone felt worthy of celebration. The first cracks in the earth, the first sprouts poking through like bird beaks, the first flower, the first bean. I picked off bugs with fierce maternal vigilance and cursed at the local pillaging rabbits. Truly, as Nora says, a garden is a soap opera growing out of the ground. The Vietnam vet who dropped thousands of tiny seeds on his soil to make up for the thousands of bombs he'd dropped never made it out of my notebook. Nor did the alcoholic gardener who spoke to his plants. A book, like a plant, finds its own shape. I feared young adult readers wouldn't sit still for a book about a garden, and for a time I lost faith. I put the book aside. When I returned to it, I felt that it had to have more young characters and be shorter so as not to bore my readers. Since life doesn't tie up all loose threads in a year, I also decided that the book would be open-ended, with the outcome of various characters' dramas left to readers' imaginations. The book came out with its lovely jacket and illustrations. Books are quite like seeds. The writer never knows exactly what will come up. Some are yanked out by hostile reviewers. Others please passers-by and spread extravagantly. Some travel far, to places the author would never know without fan mail. Seedfolks has led an exciting life, translated into other languages, produced on the stage, read by whole cities and states. A Japanese band has named itself for the book. Like the ancient Egyptians, we recognize that contact with nature can heal. Hours after the 9/11 attacks in New York, scores of people were standing in wait for the gates of the Brooklyn Botanic Garden to open. The city's public gardens waived admissions fees and were thronged with those seeking solace and serenity. In the uprush of altruism, we also saw that a sense of community, the knowledge that we're known, that we care, that we will be cared for, provides an even greater solace. I sense that we all have hidden stores of generosity that often find no outlet except in such moments of disaster. This was the marvel of the community gardens I visited. They were oases in the urban landscape, places where people could safely offer trust, helpfulness, and charity without need of an earthquake or hurricane. Television, I'm afraid, has isolated us more than race or class. Throughout my writing life, I've worked on books designed to bring readers together in performance, from plays to poetry from multiple voices. With Seedfolks, I kept the monologues short so that the book could be used as classroom readers' theater. Community gardens are places where people rediscover not only generosity, but the pleasure of coming together. I salute all those who give their time and talents to rebuilding that sense of belonging. It's a potent seed. I have great faith in a seed, wrote Thoreau. Convince me that you have a seed there, and I am prepared to expect wonders. All right, guys, that's it. We've come to the very end of our Seedfolks journey. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this book gave you something to think about. I hope it gave you a different perspective. Until next time, I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again.